All right, guys. So, welcome to Asian Session. Today is Wednesday, February 26th. It is 7 p.m. EST. And I have a couple things, a couple pairs and setups that I think looks pretty promising so far. I'm going to couple some of these pairs with the commemorative traders. I know some of you guys aren't too familiar with commemorative traders, so I'll touch on it just a little bit. But let me know, guys, if you're even if you're looking at this recording and those who are currently with me live, let me know in the chat if you want me to do just like a session of commemorative traders sometime soon in the other live room. Um, let me see. I can't even think of the name of the room right now. I'm so often in between both rooms, but in the room where we can just kind of collaborate. Let me know if that's something that you guys are interested in. If I get enough people, then maybe we'll just do like a session on that. Maybe you get 45 minutes to an hour session sometime next week and really hone in on the commitment of traders because in my opinion it's golden. Valencia, the commitment of traders queen, is in the room too. Good to see you guys on. And team talk, there you go. Thank you. All right, guys, so if you guys are interested, just let me know in the main chat. So and if we get enough, maybe I'll just do a poll as well in one of the chats. But from there, we're going to look at forexfactory.com. Nothing going on today. Everything is taking place that needed to be taking place. I'm showing right now, tentative, President Trump is speaking, which can affect the USD. I'm just going to refresh it. And I don't see a specific time or anything. I even looked it up and Googled it. There was some speech or whatever that he had a couple earlier at 11 a.m. EST, the cabinet meeting, and then 3 o'clock EST, which he signed some executive orders in the Oval Office. It was closed to the press, though. But other than that, I don't see anything else happening. So I'm still waiting to see if this will happen. So let's keep an eye out on that for USD pairs, guys, just in case. Okay. I like to also look at the next day since we're in between days. Next day, we always have our unemployment claims each week. That's something we're going to look at 8:30 a.m. EST. They're predicting or forecasting 222K. And we know that if we want the currency, the USD, to rise, then we want to make sure unemployment is doing better. So if the actual is less than forecast, then it's doing better because we want less people filing for unemployment claims. So if it's less, then that should make any currency that begins with USD rise just a bit. Nothing too fancy, but maybe a few pips or so, depending on what the other currency pair you're trading with. If the currency ends with USD and this number comes in lower, then it should drop, still meaning that USD is gaining some momentum. All right, so just wanted to throw that out there. And then let's look at Friday. Friday, nothing too big. We have some prelims for CPI for Euro and GDP month to month for CAD, and then core PCE price index for USD. So we'll keep an eye out on that on Fridays. I know a lot of us, or we try to not trade as much on Fridays for the close of the week, but we'll keep an eye out on that. Nothing too concerning at this particular point. All right, so I see a few of you guys want to do the CLT session. So I'll put a survey in the main chat sometime after this, just so I can get a full understanding of everyone, maybe even those who aren't in here. But let's go ahead and look at some of the pairs, guys. First pair I'm looking at, Euro AUD. This is Kenya's favorite pair. So, um, very first thing, when you're trading, a lot of you guys know, especially if you've been with us for a long time, you always want to find the trend. You always want to find some sort of pattern. Price action channel strategy, which most of you are familiar with, is easy on the eye. One of the reasons why we do it because it's easy on the eyes and it starts to make things look a little bit more predictable, whether if you should buy or short on the higher time frame, right? So you always want to start on the higher time frame, identify a trend, and then go down to a lower time frame where you typically trade at, and then draw your channels. But I like to draw my channels on the higher time frame. We're going to start on the daily for now. And what I like to do often is scroll left to see if there's any imbalance, just something is just in habit, right? One thing that sticks out to my eye is this here. I'm not too worried about this. This was August 2024. Still a possibility of a supply area. And as I see, if I just were to draw a nice supply zone across, this is something that I would do, right? This is kind of a median area. So this just tells me in the back of my mind that price could still reach and go higher overall. In the meantime, since price isn't around this zone, I want to see if there's any particular position that I can take in the meantime. Nothing forced, just simply drawing price action, trapping price, and see if there's anything in intermediate that I can do or immediate that I can do. So that being said, let's draw our levels. We're going to trap price vertically. Let me just redo this here. Trap price vertically with our trend line, touching your bottom and extending it. And then you want to right click and clone it. If you have a Mac, sometimes I like to just click this trend line and then I like to do Command C. Uh-oh. I like to do Command C and then Command V because Command C copies it and then V pastes it. And I'll just drag it on here. Parallel lines here. And once you do that and start to trap it, you can start to see it becomes a little bit more predictable. Currently, I see Euro AUD in the middle of our channel. You typically don't want to trade in the middle of your channel, but you still want to identify your levels. I had this level right here, and I simply looked left for clues. You Oftentimes you can identify a level when you see a number of wicks or candles refusing to break out to the upside or to the downside. Easily identifiable right here. Almost guaranteed that we're going to see a rejection here. Even if it continues higher, we should see a rejection here because this is a firm resistance zone here. Remember, big boys like to look here on the right. They like to react here on the right. So I'm almost certain that we should see price gain a little bit more momentum up to the upside here to this resistance zone and possibly pull back, and you can take profit in the middle of the channel. So let me draw that a little bit better. Let me go to the lower time frame so you can see it just a little better. 8-hour time frame, I expect for price to push up just a bit. And to give you a perspective here, right around this zone here to the middle of the channel is about 40 to 45 pips. A beautiful intraday, maybe swing trade depending on the volatility and when that happens. So we're seeing downside movement here right now, which is expected. We have a doji candle here, right here. That simply means imbalance, the previous 8-hour candle. We have sellers coming in. All this is resetting to push up just slightly a bit, slightly higher. And if you can see this triangle on the right side of my chart where it says Euro sell at the top of channel is where I would love to sell anywhere within this red rectangle zone here. I never draw a skinny line. I always draw a wide enough rectangle to capture price action here on the left. Look at all of these candles here. I want to make sure I capture all of the price action from down here to up here. That's why I draw my rectangles this wide, because I know price can go anywhere between here and you can sell. That's ideal for swing traders because you can get in anywhere and not be afraid. Scalpers, it may be a little bit more difficult. You're going to have to hone in and go to the lower time frame and possibly use an indicator to find your overbought and oversold levels. But swing traders, you can get in anywhere here, not be afraid of rejection if it goes higher, because you know this here is the sweet spot, if that makes sense. This here is the sweet spot. So I'm almost certain that we should see a rejection off of this level. And when I said even if it continues higher, let's spread it out to this resistance level or the supply level. I like to put supply here. This is the major level here. Even if that continues higher, we're going to see this pullback, and you may see something like this, retest higher. This will be a perfect level here. It wouldn't be quite a B swing, but this will be a great supply level to sell off of. Not worried about giving you any numbers right now for this because this could take some time. Just mark up your charts and put this here, label this here as a supply level. All you have to do is go back to this February or January 2025 level right here. Mark your rectangle. This will be an excellent level here sometime, maybe in a couple weeks, maybe a month or two. if it continues higher. Let's look at the commitment of traders really quickly, according to Valencia, because I like to cheat off of hers because she does all of the work. We really appreciate you, Valencia. So let me just look at Euro AUD. So it says buy right here. This is her chart. So Euro AUD says buy. We're simply meaning this is the big boys, meaning it's still headed up. But look how low this number is. It's only 4,143. This tells me right here that it's still, this is how many contracts they have. They have 4,143 contracts. Each contract can consist of millions of dollars. So we're moving a lot of money here. But because this number is a lot lower, let's say compared to this here, odd NZD, which is 11,000, or Euro NZD, which is 15,000, this tells me that we may be coming to a reversal soon, which will line up to this zone here. Once this number becomes negative and she drops it in its sale for Euro AUD, then that will also confirm that sellers will start to come in, and that will be a nice swing trading opportunity. So my bias is still to the upside. This will be a counter trend trade, but this counter trend trade I think will be perfect for intraday, maybe swing trade for a day or two, depending on the volatility of when price comes here. All right, temperature check. Does that make sense, guys? Do you guys hear static when I'm talking? Let me know in the chat. You do? Is it bad? The static is pretty bad. I don't know where it's coming from, but let me try to find out. I'm going to pause the recording really quickly, guys. Okay, so for Euro AUD, we're going to wait for this to push up. On the 8 hour, we have a beautiful wick below, which means buyers are still fighting. A great chance we can have it pushed back up to the resistance zone. I will not buy right now. We never want to buy in the middle of the channel or sell in the middle of the channel. That's always risky. Now, although the commitment trader says to buy, although price action is saying to buy, as investors, I like to call ourselves investors more than traders, because as investors, we're always should be asking ourselves, what is the risk involved and how can I reduce it as much as possible? That should be the forefront of your mindset as opposed to how much money can I make? Because no one can guarantee how much money we can make because we're in a market that we do not control. We're in it only to ride along. So if you think of it as a defensive player, if you know sports, as opposed to offensive, you will almost all the time win because we're not the home team. We do not have home advantage. We're the away team. The big banks, the hedge funds, the market, the people who move these candles, they're the ones who are the home team. So we have to think like big money. We have to think like them. And so when I see that previously price was at a too overbought or was overbought here multiple times, and I'm on the 8 hour time frame, each candle equals 8 hours, and it took days and days and days for it to finally break right here, that tells me that that price is important to them. So I'm pretty certain that price will come back to this level, reject, and possibly go even higher. But there has to be a rejection. There has to be a rejection. Okay. Of course, we want to always be aware of news happening as well during that time once it comes to this level, but be sure to put an alert here. If you guys want my alert is at 1.6662. And that may be even a nice sell limit as well, as opposed to just an alert, because I have my alert pretty deep into the resistance level. It's pretty much in the middle of my rectangle resistance level. I think that would be a nice sell limit, maybe even a little bit slightly below it. And then I would take profit in the middle, possibly continue to the upside to this supply zone up here. Okay. Next pair. Let's take a look at Euro JPY. I'm not a yen fan, especially what's been going on with the yen, but I see a possible setup. And it's good because Kenya says she probably wouldn't buy. right here. And it's good to have opposing views sometime with my mate because we trade the same, we've learned the same, we've studied the same, we've studied for years together with trading. And sometimes when we have opposing thoughts, I think it's healthy. So I want to give you both perspectives. She thinks that yen, there may be further downside with euro yen, for example, is at a nice support level here. I would say take caution, but one of the things that I'm seeing, which is why I think there may be some sort of rejection, I don't know how far it'll go up, but I do believe there may be some sort of rejection, is one, you see a number of candles here, right? Kind of bouncing off of this support. So this could mean that sellers are becoming dominant and may eventually break to the downside. Absolutely. So that's in the back of my mind. I was looking at it from the weekly perspective. Let's go back to the weekly, or I can actually go to the day, to the daily here. And what I was pretty much looking at was like a double bottom. And I think it was on the weekly here, possibly the daily. All right, so more of a double bottom here. So we have one right here, and then we have two with a little consolidation. So here is kind of making me a little nervous, but I want to say that we should see some sort of push to the upside prior to it continuing to drop, if it does drop, because this is a significant level and it has risen here. So once it came here a few days ago, it shot up about 133 pips, came back down, and it looks like price is starting to lose momentum. So what I mean by that is I can pretty much draw sort of like a rectangle here. You see this downtrend here, and then I can do something like this as support. And when you see something like that, that can tell you that there's going to be some sort of breakout. And I'm hoping it's to the upside because looking at candle behavior, look at the length of each candle, pretty long. And as it comes down here, it's getting shorter and shorter. And this could tell us that sellers are losing steam. But at the same time, it's been tested multiple times. So you just want to be cautious here. If you do decide to buy, I would wait for it to get a little deeper into support. I wouldn't look to buy right now because obviously this daily candle is pretty strong. It's filled up as well, and I'm hoping that it will do something like this here, where it wicked previously in the past, came down to this level right here at the bottom, and then buyers just came in and dominated. So just within that day, from this bottom to this top wick was 173 pips, and then it finally closed here at around 100 pips. So I'm hoping something like that'll happen. Not long term, I will probably stay within it for a day or two and look to see if it will mimic something like this candle right here. I wouldn't take it up to this resistance level. I would only take it up for about a good 75 to 100 pips or so. So let's just keep an eye out for Euro JPY. Okay. Let me know your thoughts. If you agree, disagree, I think it's good and healthy for us to get different perspectives. It helps us grow as traders. Kenya said, I'm going to wait for the next impulse move. So you're talking about for the next impulse move to the upside, Kenya, before buying or before selling? Either way. So what if there's an impulse move to the upside, something like this? This is what I'm trying to actually capture. So I'm trying to capture it just to get a little bit deeper into support. Maybe not too much. Let's see, maybe another 15 pips, 10 to 15 pips. And then I would like to get in and take it to around these minor resistance level for about 100 pips, 75 to 100 pips. So I would say somewhere in between here. I think that would be perfect. I just want to see a massive move. If it goes up, I'll wait for it to move hundreds of pips into the next key level. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. So what she's looking at is this downside movement here. So if we capture this in a channel like this, the only thing about this is I would capture the channel like this here because it broke out and it broke that lower high and it started to make another high. So I wouldn't really capture it this way. I would capture it this way and maybe start the downtrend from here. So it's just a little bit tricky for right now. I'm trying to get that impulse move now and not have to wait. So you just have to be strategic. If you do that, I would do it with a low lot size, maybe two entries, two low lot size, and just wait to see what happens. I look left for clues. I see that this here could be the possible bottom in wick, but I can't see it dropping any further than that before it continues a downtrend. So let's just kind of keep our eye on this one here. Nothing too promising, but just something that I'm looking at. Let's see what Valencia has here for Euro JPY. Euro JPY, she has a buy, so it's about 7,000 as of, let's see, Monday. So when Monday hit, it actually shot up. So this was our Monday candle, and the buy pretty much has already taken place. It went up about 120 pips, and then it closed about 63 pips. And then it shot up again Tuesday, and now it looks like it's starting to tread down. Overall, it's still a buy, so I do think it's still a good possibility that we can get a good 75 pips, maybe 100 pips to the upside right now. I don't want to talk too much about this one pair here. All right. Thanks, Kenya, for your feedback. So Kenya's also in the chat, guys, just in case you want to see her feedback. Next pair. And guys, feel free to stop me, ask questions if you have any. Let's look at GBP AUD. All right, GBP AUD, I'm looking at this on the daily time frame. Which catch my eye here is this possible double, or pretty much this like almost like a triple top here. One, two, and then we have here, looks like on the daily time frame, sellers are starting to give momentum on the looking at this red candle here. Now, on the top of my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm also aware of this. As a swing trader, when I was trading, like when I had my 9 to 5 job and I couldn't really watch the charts as much as I want to, if price wasn't at this level and I decided to short term sell this here, this is where I would have another entry at here. My stop loss would be away from here. So if I have another entry right here and I'm hoping for price to sell, let's say I sold here, I have an entry here, but price continued to rise, almost a 10 out of 10, price is going to drop here. So I would profit from this second entry here while being negative with this first entry. And I should get back to at least this here for support zone, zeroing it out. So either way, I'm profitable. And this is a swing trading strategy that we use. And this will be almost pretty much a B swing strategy. Not quite, but this is a heavy supply zone. Looking left for clues, a lot of imbalance right here. Let's go a little bit further. Let's go to the weekly time frame. Okay, this here is 2020, so I'm not too worried about this. This was COVID-19. So I'm not worried about that. That's more of a false price here. But if I draw my lines straight across, I think this is the dominant supply level right here. And it's not by coincidence that this level matches up with this one back in January 2019. From January 2019. So this is the major supply level. This here is false from COVID-19. That was a pandemic, so everything was out of balance. And now we're back here. This will be a reversal. Mark my words. Take a picture, write it down. Let's keep track of it till let's say this summer. And if you were to get in and hold it, and I'm not advising you to do that, but if you did, I'm about 98% confident that price will drop at least a good 500 to 600 pips by this summer for GBP AUD. That's how confident I am. Journaling, doing B swing hundreds of times, and being confident. So you just have to withstand the pullbacks. But this is what I would do when I was working my 9 to 5 job and making income when I couldn't always watch my charts. I used to love levels like this. All right. So GBP AUD, just to recap on the daily time frame, where price is at, I think it would be a nice sell. I wouldn't hold it for too long. So where price is currently at, anywhere between, I would say don't be too greedy, maybe 75 pips. Maybe 75 pips. Because if for some reason it does push up to the upside here, I don't want you to be trapped. But this here is what I'm really waiting for. So I'm going to put an alert right here. And I'm going to say potential trade reversal. So this is the main alert that I'm looking for. Where price is currently at now, we probably wouldn't take it no more than 75 pips and get out just in case if it continues to make higher highs and higher lows and eventually break this. All right. Makes sense, guys? You're welcome, Kenya. All right. Any questions so far, guys? Are you lost? Is it making sense? Is it not making sense? Just a temperature check. Sometimes I wish this was team talk so I can hear your voice and just get a good understanding of what you guys are feeling. Valencia, thank you so much. Makes sense. Okay. Next pair, we're taking a look at GBP NZD. All right, GBP NZD, sell as supply, swing trade. This is something that I just put here. This is what I'm looking at. Looks like price is wanting to creep right up into this level. This will be a perfect supply zone right here. So where price is currently at to where I would love to sell is about 100 pips away. We know that GBP NZD can get to this level within a day or two. I will look at this sometime next week. So nothing net to trade right now, but let's keep an eye out on this because I'm hoping that my alert and price will get to the zone sometime next week. Once it does, I am selling pretty good. So let me give you my alert zone here. My alert zone is right here. It's 2.2338. So anywhere within that level, 2.2338 is where I'm looking to sell. And easily 150 pips. So as a swing trader, guys, if you guys are scalpers, let me know in the chat really quickly. Do you guys scalp? How do we identify SD from RS? So to make it easy without overcomplicating things, supply is like our B swing level. I'm not sure if you're familiar with B swing strategy, but without complicating, supply is the top, right? If I go to the weekly time frame, look at this imbalance. Price hasn't been here in years. I'm all the way back in 2021. This is supply. Supply. That means we're looking at a potential reversal, right? Last time I was here was in November 2015. So we're definitely going to see a bounce from here. Even if I draw this line all the way here, the supply line here, let's dissect it a bit. Not a coincidence that it wicks right here. Now, of course, price went higher back then, but we should see at least a minimum of 150 pips without being greedy. Resistance is everything, it's the top level, but it's everything in between. So I can find resistance like this here. So let me draw my trend line, do this. I'm going to clone it, price action channel strategy. So let's do this. Higher highs and higher lows in an uptrend. Here's my low, highs, higher low because it's higher than this, higher highs. This is almost a higher low. It's pretty much equivalent here. Here's my higher highs, higher lows. So your higher highs are pretty much resistance, right? So I can draw a line straight across. So my resistance level is in between my supply and my demand zone. So let's go all the way down here. Here's my demand right here. Here's a demand right here, for example. So this is like the lowest of the low. And I would probably focus more on this here as a demand level here. The lowest of the low when you see price bouncing off of this multiple times. So demand is pretty much like the lowest of the low. I'm not getting too complicated. We can talk about it more on in Discord. This is demand, the bottom, the floor. Here is support, the floor. But you can see how this support isn't quite the bottom all the way down here as demand here, right? This is like the lowest of the low, typically trend reversal areas. So support is smaller demand levels, to I guess to put in that perspective. Supply or resistance is smaller supply levels. So here is a resistance level here. Why is it resistance? This is the ceiling and it dropped right here. It finally broke through. It finally broke through, came back down, and now it's future support. This is the floor. So this is previous ceiling, future floor. Supply is the highest, demand is the lowest. So without getting too complicated, that's pretty much it in the nutshell. I can go a little bit deeper what it is, but just to, not to overcomplicate things for the purpose of this live without getting too distracted. As an educator, I like to elaborate too much, and I need to learn to stop sometimes so I don't get too far off topic. But hopefully that answered your question. So supply, demand are higher levels of price action, and resistance support is consistently being done day to day to make. Exactly. You can say that. That is a fantastic point, right? So I like to look at supply and demand as the big picture, support and resistance as the smaller picture inside of the big picture. All right. Um, so did I give you guys GBP NZD? So GBP NZD definitely would look to sell right off of this supply level right here. Supply level is probably supply level and demand level is how B swing, our strategy, was created. Because when I was working my 9 to 5, this is all I would trade. So whenever we say when prices hasn't been tested for 6 months or greater, I used to like the greater because when price has this big imbalance like this, remember last time price was at this level was back in January 2016. It came to retest this recently, December 2024, but it still can almost qualify as a B swing because this is still a supply level. So we're going to see a drop here. This will be considered a double top. If it's a double top, it's also a reversal pattern. Double tops and triple tops are reversal patterns. So this will be a top here, another top in the future, and at that time, we should see something like this, right? But if you don't want to hold on too long, easy 150 pips. And I can almost say guarantee it. I can't say guarantee in trading because nothing's 100%, but journaling and trading this year after year after year, I can almost say I guarantee it. All right, that's GBP NZD. Did I give you guys the alert by chance? If I did it, it's right here, 2.2338. All right, next one, guys. NAS 100. How many of you guys trade NAS 100? The Nasdaq. We typically trade this in the stocks program. So, and I know we started trading this in the Forex program as well. So I just wanted to go over this with you really quickly here. So I'm going to start really from scratch. Again, you want to use one of the strategies to make things simple, right? If I just look at this, it looks all chopped up, don't know exactly what's going on. But if you have a sequence of things that you follow before entering or even considering entering, it makes things a lot easier. First, because this is the Nasdaq, this isn't Forex, you want to know what you're trading. A lot of times I've talked to people who trade NAS 100 and have no clue what this is. NAS 100 is the Nasdaq, which consists of the 100 top companies in the world. Amazon, Chipotle, Costco, Chevron, so on and so forth. So when you have large heavy hitters like this, you're going to continue to have uptrends. So this is guiding me to what I need to do. It's giving me a bias if I should buy or sell. I never sell Nasdaq. I never sell Nas 100 because if I go back in time, all we see is this continual uptrend. So if you were to sell, you can absolutely sell and make money. Just know that it's slightly less risk, it's slightly more riskier to sell in an uptrend, especially going all the way back in 2014. This is where I'm at right here. And it hasn't dipped until COVID. This was COVID 2020. You got to expect that. How many times do we have COVID, right? But other than that, it dropped, but it still continued to go higher. This was an opportunity during COVID, a huge opportunity. Then you have this dip here. This was the Ukraine-Russia war. August, so all the way from 2020, this is what dropped during the Ukraine-Russia war. Because NASDAQ is a United States um, um, I would say a United States, it consists of United States companies. United States is heavily involved in the war and it affects the war as well. We're going to have this drop. Again, another opportunity. When we were trading Forex, guys, how many of you guys were here when I dropped the YouTube video about trading the war, the Ukraine-Russia war? And I was giving you guys pair what to drop, what to sell, and for how long. We profited a lot there. But again, continual upside. So when you understand what you're trading, it gives you more confidence. So you will never catch me selling NASDAQ because I know what it is. I'm only buying, but I'm only buying at a discount. So as an investor slash trader, I'm not thinking about how much I want to make quite yet. I want to think about what is my risk. So the rules for the price action channel strategy says to go to the higher time frame, figure out the trend. I already see the trend. You want to draw your channels based on whatever time frame you use. I can start on the weekly or the daily. I'm just going to start on the weekly. Connect my low to my next low, and I don't have to worry about this low here. This is where I know a lot of us get confused. I don't have to worry about this low here, right? If you start too far, I'm all the way back in November 2023, that can kind of mess up your trend line. So you want to just see a sequence of higher highs and higher lows. That's all you want to do and connect it. Once I do that, I'm going to clone this line, take it to the tops or the higher highs and do that. Now that I've done that and trap price in the channel, it looks a little bit more appealing to me and price becomes a little bit more predictable. But to make it a little bit more predictable visually, now I need to draw my level. So I need to trap price horizontally. I already trapped it vertically with these lines. Now I need to trap it horizontally. Another way, another thing that traders struggle in is to find their levels. So you want it to make it stand out. So I'm going to the daily time frame, and you want to simply find your higher highs and higher lows. So I can simply circle, here's my bottom low, high, low. When you continue to find these sequences, you can almost find your levels. Let's go up some more. Higher high, higher highs here. I can see this dip here. And so this kind of interrupts it, but if I go back to the weekly time frame, it still follow that sequence. Let me spread it out just a bit. So higher highs, and then we've just been consolidating a bit here. And it dropped back. Remember this higher low right here? This will be my low right here. And I can even find this here. So I forgot to even point this out here. But this is a main level right here. Even though it's not captured in my trend line, this is still a major level because it was a major reversal here. So even if I grab my trend line or my rectangle tool and draw all the way across, it should match up with your higher lows. So number of wicks here, candles refuse to drop below this line, and it makes it a little bit more visually appealing for you here. A number of wicks here was not able to break it. So now that you kind of make things a little bit more appealing, we don't buy just because price is on this trend line because the big people, those who move the market don't know how you've drawn your trend line. We only draw a trend line really to capture the trend. Now, if price happens to come down, it doesn't mean that it's broken your trend and now it's a downtrend. That simply means you need to spread out your trend line because we're still in an uptrend. Just spread it out. Give it some room to breathe. If you happen to spread out your trend line, you need to delete your top one and reclone your bottom one and drag it to the top because this needs to be parallel with the one another. And so I'm looking to buy. Odds are that, remember, I want a discount. Odds are if price comes down here, we should see an upside movement here. I only want a discount as an investor. If you're buying a home and you're looking to sell it for a profit later as a as a real estate investor, you don't want to buy at the middle of the market, or you definitely want to buy at the top of the market. You want to wait for a discount and you are not willing to negotiate. This is my discount here. And the reason why I labeled this as my discount is because the discount in the past tells me that a lot of buyers were buying here and they were able to profit because when it came here, they profited when they released the sale here. Dropped here again, bought, they sold. Bought, sold. Every time it goes up, they sell it and they profit. So this is what I'm looking to buy without negotiating. I would sell it around the same area here or middle of the channel or wherever you feel comfortable. You don't even have to hold it that high. You can hold it for a few. So that's pretty much the price action channel strategy in a nutshell. You can go down to the lower time frame and pinpoint your entry if you want. But right here will be perfect. So let me give you a level here, an alert for NAS 100. So you can see that I followed some sequences and steps to determine where I'm going to buy, sell, and take profit, simply doing the exact same thing over and over again. No need to guess anymore. My level is 20,685. So around that zone. And if it rings, I will alert you, or Kenya will alert you that we have a potential buy for NASDAQ. All right. So, Anika, you said it was tricky. What was tricky? I'm sorry if I missed your question. What's tricky? And while you answer that, let's go to the next one. Let's take a look at gold. All right, gold. Man, I used to love gold and I made a lot of money from that until we changed brokers and then I haven't been back in. Um, okay, so as you type gold, remember, ask yourself before you get in, what is the risk? If you ask that all the time, you approach the market correctly. Don't ask yourself, how much can I make? Ask yourself, how can I minimize risks? As any investor, if you're a business owner, always ask yourself, how can I minimize risk? You always want to buy things for cheap and then sell it at the top. I mean, it is tricky to sell because it is always in an uptrend. Yeah. But you know what? For currencies, I hate to go back, but I'll go back. For currencies, you see this. It's called the Wyckoff strategy. You'll see this, maybe a little consolidation, and then you'll see this. And then you'll see this again, and then you see this. For things like NASDAQ or stocks, especially Fortune 100 companies and Fortune 500 companies, it only rises. And gold, it only rises. So for Fortune 100 companies that continue to rise, like Apple, like the NASDAQ, I'm only buying. Currencies I can sell and buy because there's always a supply level for currencies. There's always a demand level for currencies, for most currencies. And so it always goes up and down, up and down. Stocks, they only go this way. And I'm talking about particularly Fortune 500 companies. They only do that. So you only want to get in at your support level like this. You want to buy here. You want to buy here at the discount. The reason why currencies go up and then to supply and then down to demand and they keep doing that is because we're talking about currencies, right? A country, if their currency becomes too deflated or too oversold, then that country will not thrive. Countries have to thrive based on their currencies and their rate. And I'm probably not saying it correctly. I have to get my thoughts together. But there's always a balance with currencies. The United States dollar and the Great Britain pound. You can't have the United States dollar continuing to outweigh the pound always growing because you will have a what's the word I'm looking for? A recession. You will have a recession pretty much with the country when you see things like that. If the United States dollar continue to climb against the GDP. So it has to rebalance itself. And it's done like that on purpose. So that's the beauty of currency is and B swing because B swing is a lot more predictable with currencies than stocks. I only do B swings with stocks if it hits a demand level down here, as opposed to a supply level with stocks that continue to grow. All right. Sorry, guys. Don't want to get too much into it. Um, Gold, again, rising. Let's scroll out. Always good to go out. Rising, rising, rising. So I'm only looking to buy, and I'm only looking to buy at a discount. Remember, ask yourself, what are the risks? Look where price is at now. Would you buy? Would anyone buy currently right here? If yes, just type Y. If no, just type no. Anika, no. Anyone else? Rohan, no. Johnny said, oh. No. Christopher, so a lot of no's. Absolutely. It's too risky. We're in an uptrend. Now, because we're in an uptrend, this is the beauty of trading. Like, even if you messed up and you bought right here, you hit buy, right? But for some reason it dropped, you will be down a lot of money. However, if you hold it long enough, and with no telling how long, but if you hold it long enough because you know you're trading gold and it rises in nature, eventually you will make your money and some. Of course, there'll be swap fees and all that stuff too, and commission. But the beauty of trading with the trend is a lot less riskier because if you hold it long enough, you will recover. But if you're trading counter trend, and let's say you sold here with this arrow, but it continues to rise, it may not come back down here. It may continue to do this. So you always ask yourself, what's less riskier? So I'm only looking to buy and I'm only looking at a discount. This is an obvious support level here. I wouldn't sell either, and this is just me, although it could drop because it's almost about time for buyers to come in. So they need to drop the price to attract buyers. So it could drop. However, I'm personally not willing to take that chance. A lot of people are willing. I'm more of a scaredy cat. However, I'm profitable too because I'm a scaredy cat. I only weigh my risks. I don't care about how much money I make. Money will follow. I weigh my risk, and right here is too risky to sell or buy. I'd rather it come down and buy from here at a discount because of that deep drop is going to attract buyers than sell and it continues to go higher. And I could be right because buyers have been in the game for so long, so it's about time for a pullback, but it's still a little bit too much risk for my blood. But if you did happen to sell, I think this would probably be the best time to sell around this level. And it could come back down to this previous resistance level here. Me personally, I'm not. I'm only looking to buy in an uptrend because it's less riskier. I'm an investor as opposed to a trader or a gambler. That's how I look at the markets. Okay. So I'm looking to buy here. Knowing gold could be volatile. It could take a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month from now. But I'd rather get in at the discount and I'm not willing to negotiate. So if you guys want my level here, let me show you. And remember, it possibly may not get here, but if not, I just happen to miss the trade. The market has a lot of things for me to trade instead of waiting on one thing and forcing it. So let me draw my level here again. Just wait for me really quickly. So I like to be alerted prior to it getting to my level. So I will be alerted and know. So let's put my level around here. XAU USD, possible buy at support. So whatever I want to name it, so when my alert goes off, I'm aware of what's going on. All right. So I have actually two alerts. I'm going to delete one here. So this alert here is at $2,784. Perfect buy level in an uptrend. And another reason why it's a perfect buy level, let's say price happens to drop like this. Let's say I get in right here, but then price goes further. I rather get in at this discount now than right here and go further because I know eventually it's going to continue higher according to this huge uptrend since the conception of gold, right? So just the way I think. All right, let's take a look at it. I have two more pairs AUD USD. All right. AUD USD, I have a possible buy. Let's look at the daily. Actually, let's start off on the weekly time frame. I think we've gone over this here. So to answer your question, so remember, Anika, you mentioned about supply and demand. We talked about this a number of times already this month. This is our demand zone right here. It's not a coincidence that price rejected right where rejected before in the past, right? So this is why we draw a rectangle pretty wide to capture price action to know that anywhere within the zone we can see a rejection. So this was back in October 2022. This was during the war, Ukraine and Russia. Came back, retested, and look how much to the upside has it grown. This, in my opinion, is a reversal. It's already gone 214 pips. And that was in about 1.5 weeks, give or take. And so I'm looking at it like this here, guys. When I say reversal, I'm not talking about just a few hundred pips. I'm talking about something major, right? This is the power of supply and demand because you're at the beginning typically of a reversal. The only thing is you have to be patient, and sometimes it's hard to be patient because it may not take off until a month from now. It may consolidate a bit. You may see your profits go into blue and then it goes into red and it may comes out zero, but eventually it's going to break out. It's at the beginning of an uptrend. So let me look at Valencia's CLT really quick for AUD USD, and I think it may be sell. Oh, so AUD USD. Let's see. Oh, so it's a buy. So AUD USD is a buy. And this is the beginning of our uptrend. If you didn't catch it at the bottom and you want a fresh start, let's go to the daily. So here's our downtrend channel, and this is the uptrend channel that I'm believing is going to happen. Where price is at now, I think is a good area to buy. So around this rectangle here, it could possibly drop a little further, maybe 20 pips to 30 pips or so before continuing a high, but going high, but I think it would be a nice swing trade. Okay, so if you guys want to monitor that, feel free. Robert, buy AUD USD and hold to credit. Hey, if you're willing to eat those swap fees and commission, then hey, go ahead. You just want to make sure it makes sense. But I'm with you. This is what I used to do, guys, and this is what I still do. I love these levels because it's not all the time you see price get to the all the way to the bottom or all the way to the top. It's not too often. So when it happens, I'm collecting. That's where B swing came from. And it always almost happens. The only time it didn't happen, which is rare, was USD was what's the pair? Chef. And it was Cat Chef, and it completely disrespected my B swing. So I was like, okay, it's showing off. So that was one occasion when it didn't happen, and that was maybe about a year and a half ago. And some of you guys were here back then. And I'm like, are you serious? So I did lose a lot of money from Cat Chef because of that. But that was one occasion out of hundreds of times that I've tested this, back tested it, traded it, journaled. It almost always happens. And the Aussie and the US dollar are two very strong currencies. So it's time to reset. Aussie is too cheap right now against the United States dollar. So what's going to happen is going to reset. You're going to always have peaks and bottoms with currencies. Here's our peaks. Here's our bottoms. This was COVID. So this is a false bottom, right? So you're going to have things like that. And look at all this price action in the past up here that it can grow. Now you wouldn't want to hold it that long because of swap fees and things like that. If you were trading maybe the S&P 500 or your 401k, yeah, because there's no things like that. I mean, you pay commission to those who are managing it, but this would be a pretty good B swing. If you want to test it out, maybe hold it for about 100 pips if you want to test your patience. All right, how much higher do you think that GBP CAD goes before it starts to fall? Also, can you please look at Euro CAD? Let me put that down. And let's see, GBP CAD. Okay, so let's take a look at. So we'll look at that really quickly. I have one more, Jermaine, if you don't mind, and then we'll take a look at those two. Okay. So let's take a look at NZD USD, and then we'll take a look at the pairs that Jermaine mentioned. Where's my NZD? Okay, NZD USD. We're going to look at a possible buy as well. So let's go ahead and bring this out. Again, demand level right here. I love this. Trend reversal. Let me look at the commitment of traders from Valencia really quick for NZD USD. NZD USD. She has a sell. Look at the number here. It says 2008-27 sell. So it doesn't necessarily mean sell. However, I'm sure it's been accumulating. So it says negative 2827. And every week I can probably assure you that this number has been decreasing. It may have started with a negative 10,000 and then 8,000 and 6,000. That simply means that the people who are moving the markets are starting to release these currencies and starting to buy NZD more and sell USD, for example. So this is at the beginning of a trend reversal. Before getting in, let's go to the daily really quickly to pinpoint a nice entry. So this, in my opinion, would be the best entry here if it came back down here, but there maybe not be a possibility. But where price is currently at, there's a possibility that it can continue higher. But let's just wait and see, guys. Let's monitor this. I don't have a price quite yet, but looking at this level here, I think there's a strong possibility that we may see a bounce to the upside from where price is currently at now. So around this zone. But before we pull the trigger, let's just wait to find out what's happening. I would say maybe by Friday. By Friday will probably give us a good chance to figure out what happened, or maybe Monday. So I'm interested to see what the commitment of traders for NZD USD will be this Saturday once we get it, or Friday, and then maybe trade it to the upside when it comes next week. So if the commitment of traders come in lower for NZD USD, currently it says negative 2,800. If it comes in, let's say negative 1,000 something or negative just 2,000, they're starting to add more longs. Or if it's a positive number, they're really going to start adding more longs. All right. So it's like coming from negative to positive. So we're keeping an eye on the commitment of traders for NZD USD. If you don't mind kind of keeping an eye on that, Valencia, I appreciate it. If not, no worries. Okay, let's take a look at Jermaine's pair. We're going to take a look at GBP CAD. All right. How are you guys doing so far? I want to make sure that you guys are hanging in there, not tired, falling asleep on me. All right, GBP CAD. Good, learning a lot. Okay. I'm glad you guys are. Robert, good to see you on as well. Hope you're having a fantastic time where you're at now. All right, so GBP CAD definitely at a supply level here. So you asked me how much higher do I think GBP CAD will grow? All you need to do is look left for clues. And where we're at here, this is pretty much a double or a triple top. So are you looking to swing trade, Jermaine, or just intraday trade? If you're looking at intraday trade, then I'm going to drop down to the lower time frame and I'm going to dissect what I see. They're on a Bollinger Band. Price is almost bulging out of this top band. Swing trading, okay, which means that its price is over bought. Let's take it off. Let's take a look at our RSI. Let's see. Let me throw on an RSI really quickly. And remember, I'm not selling based on these. I'm only looking at this for confluence. All right. Let's see. Okay, RSI also overbought is pretty much at the 71 level. I like to throw this one on with the MA because it smooths everything out. And usually what will happen is price will start to drop because it's overbought. And I love it when it starts to cross this MA because now we're in a downtrend. And I'm on the daily time frame, so we have a nice drop coming, I believe. So from how much longer? As a swing trader, Jermaine, what I would do is measure from where price is at to how high it was before. And I'm talking about this last day right here. Even looking left over here, it pretty much hit the top of my zone. That's about 60 pips difference. So I would put in about two positions. Now, this is just me. It's up to you and what your balance, which balance you have. I would put in two small positions here. And so if it happens to go higher, so I'm going to put one here. If it goes higher, I will put another one or two positions here, up here, knowing that price capped out here multiple times. One, two, and then even three and four here in the past. This is a nice supply zone. Looking left for clues, all of this imbalance. Remember, two currencies, you're trading two currencies. You're trading GBP and you're trading CAD. Two major currencies. They have to balance itself. This is our supply level, and I believe eventually we're going to have to come back down at least to this support level. And look how high this uptrend has been going. Look at this. And now we're all the way back into the war, Ukraine war in 2022. I don't think it'll go this low. But if you want a nice sale and you want to hold it and just practice position trading, and when I say position trading, maybe holding it for a couple months, I think this will be an ideal level. Let me fix my chart. This would be an ideal level right here to hold it for. Maybe slightly higher just to play it safe. Maybe up here at the beginning of this trend here. If you did that, that is 516 pips. This is how I trade all the time when I see this. Now remember, it can take a month, 2 months, 3 months. You just want to scale. And this is how we do it too for risk management. As it drops, you're in profit. You want to pay yourself, exit some of those positions, not all of them, as it comes up. Once it comes down and start dropping again at a lower high, add another position or two. Pay yourself, add, pay yourself, add. And that way you can profit before you even get to the bottom and holding one position. And this is what we do all the time. This is part of risk management as well. You pay yourself as it drops, as it pull back up, exit one or two of your positions. But it takes patience, guys. It takes patience. This is how you get additional income. Looking at the bigger picture. Scalpers, there's a strategy for that. We have a strategy for that. You just not really getting the fullness of of I would say of paying yourself or investing. This is investing. So usually when you look at the big picture, like real estate, I always come back to this. When you're investing in real estate, you're looking at the big picture. You're not looking at buying a home and selling it in a day or 2 days. You have to wait for it to accumulate value before you sell it. And why am I saying that this is a trend reversal, possible trend reversal? Because I've looked out at the bigger time frame. I've seen an imbalance. This is not a B swing because it tested already, but this is a supply zone. So more than likely, we're going to start resetting this here. Hopefully that made sense. So that being said, Anita, you said it's 2 a.m. in Sweden trying to stay away. Oh, but it's so hard. I'm sorry, Anita. Feel free to replay this if you need to. Yep, no problem. Okay. And then finally, for Jermaine's last pair, I think you said Euro CAD. Let's take a look. And keep in mind, some of this I haven't looked at in a while because I've been really focused on stocks and ETFs and things of that nature with the stock program. So you can take this anywhere, guys, anywhere. And I'm glad that I trade the agent session with you guys because now I'm like, okay, cool. I get to get in. I'm seeing a whole bunch of setups like this. So I really appreciate things like that. Okay, EuroCAD, higher time frame. Let's take a look at the weekly really quick. See what's going on. So what I'm doing as I do this, I'm scouting for supply levels, demand levels, support resistance. I'm also looking for trends. So this is why I do certain things like this, right? If things aren't completely black and white for me and it's not completely laid out, oftentimes I'll stay out. Now I can force something and find it, absolutely. But I like the bigger picture. You know, Kenya and I, we have a lot of similarities in tradings. We know how we trade, but then there's things that I like to stay in, and there's things that she likes to do as well. I like to see bigger pictures. So if this was me trading EuroCAD, I'm already capturing my supply level like this. This is like a no-brainer here. It's easy to see to the eye. Price hasn't broke out of this at all. And this is the weekly candle, the weekly time frame. And we're talking about week after week after week, multiple weeks. This is definitely a supply level here. Okay. So I'm capturing price close to where current price is at. Now I'm going to find another level underneath it. I'm finding this zone here. So some of you guys may be wondering, well, why not here? Because I'm on the weekly time frame. Price is nowhere near here. I'm not worried about this here. This is too far. This won't get here till maybe years. I mean, not years, but months. So I'm only focused on the immediate levels here. How do I find this here? Eventually, your eyes will get used to it, where you see a number of candles and wicks refusing to break, right? Refusing to break, eventually broke, came up, came back and retested, right? So you can kind of see things like this with your eye. So as that takes place, I've drawn my levels. There's no clear uptrend or downtrend. Now I'm going to drop down to the lower time frame, evaluate it more. I'm only interested in selling here. If price gets here, price is currently somewhere in the middle of my range. I'm not interested. Remember, I'm always asking myself, how can I minimize risk? This here is too risky. I can't buy, I can't sell. I don't know where it's going right now. I can look at the commitment of traders to get an idea. Let's take a look at Euro CAD. According to Valencia, it says a buy. So we should possibly see price heading to the upside, right? Remember, the commitment of traders happens on the weekend when she receives it. Monday, this is the candle for Monday, right here. And we see a buy, 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 and it may continue to go higher or consolidate. But since the buy of the commitment of traders, it already, let's see, from this bottom wick to where price is at now, it already went 160 pips since Monday. The highest was 223 pips, and then it eventually pulled down to attract more buyers. So I'm only interested in selling at this level here or buying at this level here. But I think it will reach this top resistance level before it even comes down here. So you see how I only captured support and resistance from around the zone where current price is at here. And I'm not worried about down here. This is irrelevant right here. I'm only interested right in the zone here. So right here, I think it would be a perfect opportunity to short sale. Even if we happen to break higher, which I doubt, but even if we happen to break higher and break this here, we're not going to break it until we see a pullback, break, retest. That's how strong these supply levels are and demand levels. So I would maybe sell, short sell, maybe an intraday trade, and then get out. And it depends on you for how long. I wouldn't hold it for no more than right here to this minor support level, 75 pips, maybe even shorter than that if it takes longer than a day to accomplish that. So right at this zone here. So I'm going to actually not give you this, Jermaine or anybody. I want you guys to just simply go to EuroCAD, mark your levels just like how I marked it, and you should automatically know what level to mark your alert at right here. All right, hopefully that answered your question, Jermaine. Can we look at CAD JPY? Yeah. So before we do that, I'm going to end this call. I'm going to end the recording. I like to kind of keep it within an hour. We're way over an hour right now. So those who are looking at the recording, let me know if you have any questions. If any of my alerts happen to go off, Kenya will more than likely let you guys know when it does, or even in the signals. So even if you're not in the signals, be sure to capture these alerts. All right, guys. See you in the next Asian session.